Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and welcome back to another video for EVE Online. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at covert research sites, also known as ghost sites. Probably one of the most mysterious and lucrative of the exploration sites available in EVE Online. These things get a lot of players killed, yet they are also worth a severe amount of ISK and actually have me doing the little happy dance at my computer when we find one of them. So I want to explain what these are, how they work, how you can find them, how you can survive them, and why you would want to run the blasted things in the first place, right? So yeah, let's get straight to that. If you do enjoy this video, please let me know. Hit like, drop a comment down below. Both are free and really help me out. If you want to go the extra mile to help support me financially and keep me making content like this, I've got my Patreon page, my Redbubble merchandise store, and my PayPal tip jar. And if you are new to EVE Online, there are two things in the description down below that could really help you out. First of all, there is a link to my referral code. Click that, log in, 1 million free skill points right for you immediately. It's that simple. And you can do that even if you're in an old account, as long as you haven't used a referral link before. Gives me a nice little bit of kickback as well. So yeah, thank you for doing that. Finally, Cat Skull Community Discord is linked down there as well if you want to join the Cat Skull Cartel in-game, or if you just want to chat to a bunch of really cool EVE Online players, come join us on the community Discord. Anyway, that all said and done, let's jump right into talking about covert research facilities. Covert research facilities are a very unique type of exploration site. You'll see that they have a name like Superior Blood Raider Covert Research Facility or Superior Sancha Covert Research Facility. Superior will tell you what kind of space you're in. Superior for wormholes. They've got a different name for low sec and null sec and that kind of thing. Obviously Blood Raider tells you it's a Blood Raider one. Covert Research Facility tells you it's a ghost site. You'll also get a really big warning on screen telling you when you've entered one of these sites. Now, looking around you when you enter one of these sites, you'll see 4 or 5 boxes. Most of them will have a similar name, in this case, Secure Mainframe. There'll be another one called a Secure Vault. That is the one that we're going to go for first, because that 9 times out of 10 has the biggest loot. Basically, when you uncloak on one of these sites, you start a timer. It's about 3 to 5 minutes long, it's a little bit random each time, and at the end of that timer, the entire site explodes. You will probably lose your ship at that point in time, so you need to be blasted careful to get in, hack what you can, and get out as quickly as possible. It's also worth noting that failing a hack will also cause the site to explode, so you want to be really careful when going through these particular boxes. Try and figure your way through this to the best of your ability. You see, I've got to go quickly but cautiously. Fortunately, we looted it there, 63 million in one box. We're now going to pick another one of the secure mainframes, and we are going to Microwarpdrive towards it. This is the one time when I don't necessarily recommend using a perch. We can get in and out quickly enough using the Microwarpdrive. Every second matters when running one of these sites. So get in, scan it, hack it, and off we go. And you can see that this is not quite going as quickly as planned. Oh God, got one of these things here. But we need to be quick. You can probably get 2 containers scanned and hacked before you need to warp out. There we are, some really nice blueprints there, 2 of the pack rats and 2 of the wetus. Here I'm going to warp straight out of the site, just off to anything. A safe point is the best thing to do, but I just wanted to be quick. So I'm actually going to an unsecured frontier receiver, which is not a safe site. That's why I'm cloaking up as I warp away. I just want to get off the grid, away from those boxes as quick as possible. And now I'm going to warp back in at 100 to that Superior Blood Raider Covert Research Facility to show you what happens after the timer. Because, oh boy, things get heated very, very quickly. Again, I'm going to warp in cloaked, and I'm going to sit at 100 kilometers away. So here we are, coming back into the site now. Let's wait and see. We should still have, yep, the 2 of the boxes are still there, so that's absolutely fine. The site has not exploded yet. I might have had time to get another box. Oh no! No, I would not. Look at that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cruisers. And these are all Blood Raider ships. Blood Sentries, Blood Wardens. These guys hit like a truck. They are armed with scrams, and there's 10 of them. They are going to warp into the site quickly and instantly. Like that, lock you down, scram you, and hold you in position. You need to be out of the site before that happens. You can see me just grabbing some screenshots here I thought I might use for the thumbnail, hence the little bit of sort of pausing on the screen. Now you see the explosions happening. Oh yes, that is the entire site exploding. If I spin the camera around there, you can see, look at that. That entire covert research facility has just erupted in a fireworks display there in the distance. If my ship was still in that, I would be dead. Cloaked or uncloaked, that would be me out of a cheetah. That said, about 68 million directly in standard loot, plus 4 very lucrative blueprints. Yeah, there's a lot of cool loot that you can get out of these sites. They are strongly recommended, but you need to get in, hack them, and get out as quickly as possible. So hopefully I haven't freaked you out about these sites too much. Yes, they are incredibly dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, but they can also be great fun, and I do strongly recommend running them if you happen to scan one down. Now, these are very small sites. You're going to need a scan strength of 120 to even find it. Then you're going to need to hack through that site as quickly and efficiently as possible. If you want to be able to get 2 of the boxes, you're also going to need some really good propulsion to get you through there. So here on screen is a suggestion of how you might decide to fit a cheetah for doing this. And I'll talk a little bit about how you'd modify this for some of the other of the Tech 2 Explorers at the same time. You can actually probably get away with a Tech 1 Explorer on this, a little bit cheaper if you screw up and do happen to lose it. Obviously, I fly primarily Cheetahs for exploration, so this is what I'm using. So first things first, we need to be able to scan the site down. That means we need at least 120 scan strength. Now with the skills I've got and the fit using here, Sister's Core Probe Launcher with Sister's Core Scanner Probes, I'm getting 123 points of base sensor strength. That's also because over here I'm using a Scan Rangefinding Array 2. You see, I am full scanning skills, and I still need that Rangefinding Array 2 to push me straight over the 120. If I turn that off, you'll see I'm down at 113. That is not sufficient. I do need that Rangefinding Array 2 to push me back over the 120 mark to be able to scan a covert research facility down in the first place. Our other 2 high slots are pretty standard affair, Interdiction Nullifier and Covert Ops Cloaking Device 2. The Interdiction Nullifier is because we're probably going to be scanning in some pretty dangerous areas of space. Nullsec and wormholes specifically, I don't want to get caught in a bubble. Interdiction Nullifier just helps me avoid that. The Covert Ops Cloak means I can warp into the site and actually have a little bit of a look around first, get my bearings before dropping the cloak and triggering that timer. It also means if I need to jump away to a site like you saw me do earlier, I can cloak up en route so that I can just jump to anything and not worry too much about landing into a combat situation and getting blapped on the other end there. I can just warp off, cloak up mid-warp, and be nigh on uncatchable if I'm being PvP hunted, or I can just flee into any old site and not worry about the rats locking me down. Now, our mid slots, of course, we need a data analyzer. Data analyzer is the one you're going to use to hack into these sites. We don't need to worry about a relic analyzer, so a standard data analyzer 2 is going to be pretty good for us here. Then we need the Microwarpdrive. I've gone for a 5 meganewton YT8 compact Microwarpdrive just to be able to fit it comfortably in with the stats. But again, this is just to move quickly between those 2 containers, as you saw a moment ago. Now, the final one here is a little bit controversial. Cargo Scanner 2. Ultimately, I don't bother with this, because if you want to scan every box down, you are really going to be risking whether or not you can actually get 2 of the boxes. I've seen people scan 4 boxes down, decide which ones they're going to go for, and halfway to the second one, the site explodes because it took so long to cargo scan. I don't honestly cargo scan down the containers. I go for the one that has the unusual name, and then I pick one other random container. You win some, you lose some, but you get both containers and you keep your ship alive. I've known way too many people who cargo scan down the containers, found the 2 that are going to make them big ISK, only to get blown up. You only make ISK if you get the loot and survive, right? And if the Cargo Scanner 2 can actually stop you getting the expensive loot because you've taken too long scanning everything down to figure out where it is, I would rather get 100 ISK and 100 million ISK and survive than get halfway, get 500 million ISK in my hold and die and not make it out. Like, what's the point, right? So yeah, I don't actually tend to use a cargo scanner, some people do. Which begs the question, why is it here on the fit? Because I wanted to talk about it, that's why. What would I actually put here? Well, if you don't have the skills, a Rangefinding Array 2 will then push you over the 120 points you need. If you've got it, go for a pinpointing array or an acquisition array or something like that, just to help you scan down a little bit faster and easier to get those sites. Low slots, survivability doesn't matter. I've had people ask me, can you tank the explosion? Yeah, you theoretically can, but you're going to tank the explosion and get jumped by the cruisers anyway, right? So what, again, like what's the point? If you're going to get jumped by the cruisers, held in there and destroyed, why bother to try and tank the explosion? You are still going to die. You're an explorer, don't bother with tank, just GTFO. And to GTFO, we've got 2 Type D Restrained Nanofiber internal structures and 2 Inertial Stabilizer 2s. This is giving us a time here of 3.96 seconds, and that's with the Microwarpdrive on, right? If you've accidentally left your Microwarpdrive running, you still have a sub 4 second align time. If I turn that off, it's actually sub 3 second, which is really, really useful. Sub 3 second align means you can hack that container and then just jackrabbit the hell out of there as quick as possible. So leaves one final thing to talk about, rigs. Small ancillary current router is required. We don't have the power grid to fit all of this, even with full advanced weapon upgrades. Weapon upgrades doesn't really help, but you know, full power grid settings and all that. Power grid management to 5 is not enough. You do need that current router, or you could probably get away with an implant, but yeah, there's not really much else you want to put in here. The other one is a small Memetic algorithm bank too. That's just going to increase our ability to hack into these sites. With that data analyzer just a little bit easier. You could theoretically, if you can use an implant instead of the ancillary current router to get the power grid requirements down there, go for 2 small Memetic algorithm bank 1s. You won't fit 2 2s in because of the amount of calibration required to fit that, and if we were to have a look at the actual attributes on this, you see these virus coherence bonus of 20, whereas the 1s I think are 15, so you actually get more out of 2 1s than you do out of 2 2s, if that makes sense. No, you get more out of 2 1s than you do out of a 2. That's the theory, at least. So if you can use both of these to fit a Memetic algorithm bank 1, that's going to be better than fitting an algorithm bank 2 and something else in regards to how it's going to affect your virus. But I want to keep things nice and cheap here, so I'm going to go with the current router 1 and not worry about using an implant and just have the fit here. Now, essentially, if you were to be using something like, say, a Helios or a well, any of the other explorers, really, the Buzzard is probably the one that they're all hit and miss. They all have their own strengths and their own downsides. Obviously, the Helios has more low slots, as does the Magnate. Sorry, the Helios has the same slot layout here, but you've got the Magnate with more low slots, which is going to give you more align time. And you've got the Buzzard with more mid slots, which means you could probably fit the scan Rangefinding array and the 2 of those and a cargo scanner and still be able to have enough mid slots for all of that, whereas only having 4 mid slots here does help. Buzzard obviously suffers with its low slots and thus its align time. That's why I actually really like the Cheetah. It's great for these sites because you can kind of get everything you need. But depending on whichever one of those ships you want to fly, like I'm not saying the Buzzard's bad, I just personally prefer the Cheetah. You just want to make sure you have 120 scan strength, you have enough survivability, you're going to need a Microwarpdrive, you're going to need a data analyzer, and you're going to want to be as fast out of there as you can be. Aim for those things in your fit, and you know what? If you fly any other Explorer and you do ghost sites with it, let me know. Let me know in the comment section down below what kind of fit you are running. It's also worth mentioning this is a ghost site specific fit. You'll notice in the video, I wasn't using this fit in the actual demonstration section a moment ago. I was using my standard hacker, one that's got a relic analyzer instead of the cargo container, and it's got a Memetic, instead of the Memetic, it's got another one of the gravity capacitors. You've seen me use that fit before. It's essentially, yeah, it's the one I use when I'm just going scanning and exploring in general. I was in that ship when I found the ghost site. I didn't want to go all the way back to my home station and reship, so I just used that one. This fit, therefore, is what I would go for if you are specifically looking to do a ghost site. Otherwise, yeah, fit for everything. The lack of a relic analyzer in this means while you're looking for a ghost site, if you found a relic site, you can't do anything, right? You have to dock up and swap your analyzer. Again, so there could be a reason to lose the cargo scanner and just pop a relic analyzer in there for, you know, the ability to run those sites whilst hunting everything down. Anyway, folks, that's everything for today's video. Let me know what you think of this if you're scanning down these sites. What fit are you using? What ship are you using? Let me know that and more in the comment section down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching this one right the way through to the end. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Your names are coming up in just a second. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.